Hi, I'm Abhijit. People generally call me Abhi, but it's been a while since I've got a proper response from Abhijit. That feels nice. I was a student of Venkat sir in 2019 and 2020. I joined Aaigen, which was USA UniQuest, I think. Yeah, that was the precursor in Fiji to Aaigen. So before USA UniQuest was split into Aaigen, that was what we called them. And I was introduced to Venkat sir in a class when he was trying to advertise to students that there are opportunities outside of India. And I felt fascinated. But I didn't really take action on it until mom met him and met another professor in person. And they recommended that since my English was very good and I was quite capable in terms of maths and general SAT related subjects, they advised me to go forward with that. And mom eventually joined me into USA UniQuest. And one of the first classes I took was in calculus. And that's where I encountered the teaching of Venkat sir. And wow, I still have memories. Like I try to imitate him whenever I can when I'm teaching my juniors here, where he gives me just enough information to just understand the concept and tries to simplify it as much as possible. And then he lets me loose on really complex problems. And I'm actually quite frustrated whenever I do the problems because he doesn't teach me how to do the problems. He just gives me the concept. And then when I go back to him with my half-assed solutions, he says, "No, I already taught you this before, and you still made this mistake. You can see the pattern quite clearly here, and you still missed that." And that's when I really understood the point of pattern recognition, and that helped me a lot in my life, even here, where complicated problems can be broken into simpler problems and try based on the patterns. Because I used to get afraid whenever I saw a big problem with a lot of strokes, essentially, like a lot of letters and numbers, I just got afraid. But whenever I noticed those patterns and I could rearrange them so I can simplify them, that was very good. Then this was just a maths. He also introduced me to physics and chemistry professors. Of course, I was already doing IIT simultaneously, and my boards as well, but we don't count that. It's just IIT and USA UniQuest. The professors who taught me IIT weren't as like available as the other professors who were teaching me USA UniQuest. So I didn't have as much teaching in other subjects compared to maths when compared to Venkat sir. Because he was much more available, he paid attention, and he also ensured that I had ample amount of doubt clearance and other scenarios. Whereas for physics and chemistry, I didn't really have much. I just tried to refer to my peers and also on YouTube, like organic chemistry tutor or something like that. And even physics follow for physics. Yeah, I still have like notifications that there are new videos. You should check them out from YouTube because they clicked the bell icon back then. Yeah. So I have taken SAT once in 2019 and again in 2020, I think May 4th. Uh, I was preparing for both SAT and APs at the same time. So I didn't really had much trouble with SAT. More so as they had trouble with APs. But what was funny was that SAT counted more for my application here than APs ever did. APs was just cherry on top of it. So they wanted the SAT as the main part. I didn't really pay attention to SAT back then. I was just focused on APs, particularly AP Calculus and AP Physics C, electricity and mechanics as well. Those were the toughest subjects, and I spent a lot of time. Like I used to come at 8 a.m. in the morning. I left at 10 p.m. just because I was revising my pathways. Like again, it's pattern recognition at as best as it can. I already encountered those topics in my 11th grade, intermediate first year, and even in 10th grade. And when I took the AP Calculus PC in 10th grade, a lot of people who were giving the exam with me in Hyderabad were quite shocked that I was in 10th grade. They thought I was in like 11th or 12th, was just about to finish my intermediate. Mom was quite proud of that fact. She talked to many parents who were waiting outside. So yeah. And again, one more reason was just Venkat. So he tried to kill all of my doubts and also like with a passion. He never let me leave without any questions. Just finished everything that I had and made sure I fully understood the concept. And then I didn't really had much trouble with calculus after I finished all the course. And then I went to the exam, gave it, came back, enjoyed some meal. And when I came back to Vijayawada, I got the score 5 out of 5. I didn't really think much about it. Again, because he killed all of the uh, confusion, any of the fear I had, he just eradicated it. And then when it came to physics, the professor didn't do as much of a job as I hoped to, but it still gave me enough so that I could understand the concept better and try to use my previous experience with physics in IIT and try to finish it. Again, I scored well in that, 5 out of 5 again. Chemistry was hard, so 4, but people don't really care about it anymore. And I actually feel silly saying my scores right now because it doesn't matter. I'm doing electronics, majoring in electronics, and that doesn't really take care of the physics C and calculus and chemistry here, so it doesn't matter. Besides that, he also noticed my passion in electronics and said, "Hey, you can try in Hong Kong or even in Singapore." He also recommended that I apply to a couple of Ivy Leagues just to try, but I didn't really have much hopes in them because I've seen my peers who had tried and they failed, and I didn't really pay much attention. Even when I was writing my personal statement, he pointed that out. He said, "Sir, I'm not really interested. If is it okay if I just let it pass?" He said, "Okay, ultimately it's upon you because you're studying. I won't really comment much." But regarding the universities that I applied to in Hong Kong and also in Singapore, he made sure that I made a really good personal statement that wasn't too braggy and wasn't too humble as well. He tried to make a sweet spot in between. And again, I didn't really think about the personal statement much, but he ensured that I didn't neglect it completely as well. He kept trying to push me and try to finish the personal statement and regarding other application procedures on time. Um, always been a procrastinator, and he made sure I didn't procrastinate on my applications. So I appreciate that aspect of Venkat sir as well. Again, it's not supposed to be his job, it's supposed to be my job. I should take care of my own applications, but he still came forward and made sure I finished my applications on time and also ensure that my applications didn't conflict with my IIT education. I didn't really pay attention to IIT once I applied to many universities in Hong Kong, but he said, "Hey, that's not recommended. You should always focus on IIT so that your concepts are fresh in mind. And when you go to university, people don't ask, how did you get 5 out of 5? Did you cheat or whatsoever?" That was his joke that still stuck to my mind now. So I miss those days again. When I was applying to Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, HKUST, I also applied to HKU and Poly at the same time. I was actually confused about the visa application process, just as you were. When I talked to Venkat, sir, he said because it's Hong Kong, and I had many other people who went to Hong Kong, they said most of the visa process is taken care of by the universities. That was one of the key things that made me apply to Hong Kong in the first place. And it wasn't the case for Singapore. I tried to apply for visa, but the university officials suggested that we wait until we give you our decision. And after you receive our decision, you can proceed with the visa. And I didn't get into any of the Singaporean universities, but I did get into HKUST. Poly and HKU had rejected, but that's fine. HKUST was actually, when I came here, I feel so lucky that I got into HKST compared to Poly and HK because many of the engineering teams that I wanted to get into, I just said engineering team. I don't know which engineering team in particular. The teams here are way more capable than in HKU or PolyU, and the atmosphere here is also a lot of academically focused. They focus less on promoting their own you know activities compared to HQ or Poly, and they also had less tourists coming in. So we had an atmosphere that was very I don't have the exact word, but it's like it encouraged learning and it encouraged academic research and also research and development in terms of engineering. For example, when we had politics going on in terms of the engineering team budget allocation, the professors themselves stepped forward and ensured the politics were completely thrown out the window so we could focus on the research and development. That isn't the case when in terms of HKU or PolyU. Like my peers in PolyU, they had a lot of issues with that. Consultancy for from IDP, which is for Australia and even some other New Zealand universities. And based on my experience with that consultancy, I didn't take any other. I basically Aaigen and IDP. Aaigen had paid more attention than they ever did. Like, even though I paid less compared to IDP, I still had better service overall in terms of consultancy, advising, and also general concept tutoring, etc. I'm still not sure if it was because I'm a Fiji student or because IGN itself. But one thing is for certain, Venkat sir did way more than he had to as his professor in Fiji. He went beyond what he was paid, and I'm pretty sure he got ripped off in that manner. And yeah, I mean, it's past is past. We don't care about that. But IGN, yes, that is one of the features I like. Definitely, but I'm not really familiar with the IGN now, back when I was compared to them. If it's improved, I definitely recommend to them. But I'm not really sure if it's actually improved or yeah, you get what I mean, right? I'm trying to give the best advice, and I'm not really familiar with the state of consultant services in India right now, in Vijayawada in particular. So I would definitely recommend Venkat sir to them, but I'm not sure about IGN because I'm not familiar with IGN right now. I don't have any more peers who are currently in IGN, and those who were in US University had already lost touch with me. Like I don't really keep touch with them anymore.